I'm done killing Joker. He will have the longest, forget it, Stat Muse, I didn't need this from Stat Muse, I knew this already. Take that off the screen, I got more. If they lose, I got more than Stat Muse has.
Because of the performance of Nikola Jokic in the NBA playoffs and the Denver Nuggets as a whole, he's been catching a lot of slander from a lot of people, and some of it is warranted, but a big part of it really isn't. Now, ironically, what happened last year is happening again this year, and one, he's probably going to get swept again, but number two, Mr. Nick Wright himself is coming for Nikola Jokic's head once again. And what's crazy is Nick Wright actually started a movement that is basically anti-Nikola Jokic. This man is catching so much slander, and it started with literally just Nick Wright saying a bunch of shit that wasn't even fully true. Honestly, I don't like Nick Wright, but I gotta give the man some credit. You somehow were able to convince a bunch of people on NBA Twitter and a bunch of casuals that Nikola Jokic wasn't as good as he was. In today's video, we need to talk about what's been going on with Nikola Jokic, because this man does not deserve the disrespect he's been getting. Now, of course, before I get into the content, you guys leave a like on this and subscribe to the channel if you're new, notifications on. Now, for the longest time on my videos, I've been saying, oh, we're trying to hit 100K by the end of the year, but that is changing today, because we are going to war with the man Nick Wright himself. A while back ago, he released a podcast, and the channel has about 19,000 subscribers, and I am trying to pass him because a lot of people have said I do my job better than Nick Wright does, so let's prove that. We're going to pass him in subscribers this year, I promise you. So if you want to help me in this war versus Nick Wright, just subscribe to the channel if you're new. It's free, and honestly, you're gonna enjoy the content I make. And with all that being said, let's get into the video. I think the first thing I need to address is just the simple fact that the MVP is a regular season award, not the playoffs. It is a regular season award. But you guys have known this because for the past couple years, we've seen the MVPs not do that well in the playoffs. And it's not Jokic's fault that for around the past decade, the MVP has not become about, oh, which player is on the best team. It's about what player has the best statistical season. And of course, narratives do play into a factor. Statistically, Nikola Jokic has had the best season out of all these candidates. However, when we look at his team, it's not that impressive. If the award was based on which team had the best player, then it would go to guys like Devin Booker or Jason Tatum, maybe even Ja Morant. I also hate the fact that we're slandering Nikola Jokic and blaming him for winning MVP when he can't control what happens. We're slandering Jokic like the way we slander LeBron for being a bad GM, or the way we've been slandering Kevin Durant and even Karl Anthony Towns. They can control that. It's their play or it's their decision making. Jokic cannot control if he wins the MVP. His goal is to play the best basketball possible so his team could have a shot. Now, Jokic has said publicly before he doesn't care about winning the MVP, which I think is true but also not true. It's like YouTubers when they say that they don't care about hitting 100K and getting that plaque. Like, yeah, it's not the only reason why we do it, but I think all of us would love to get that plaque one day. It's a symbol that shows our success on YouTube and how much we've worked hard for this. Similar to a 100K plaque, the MVP award has shown how hard Nikola Jokic has worked throughout the years and especially this season. And if we want to look at the fact that the Nuggets have been a playoff team consistently with Jokic leading them and this G League roster, and I think we have to give Jokic credit because we've all said this, that if Jokic was to tear his ACL or he wasn't on the Nuggets, that is a lottery team right there. Now, one of the biggest slanders about Jokic is that, oh, he can't lead his team. However, let's just talk about the fact that the Warriors are a super team right now. They have 3 and maybe 4 all-stars if we're counting Jordan Poole, who in my opinion next year will be an all-star. They have arguably the best bench in basketball. So while I thought it was kind of funny that a lot of people said, oh, the Nuggets are going to win this series, there's just no way that was going to happen, and none of us thought that whatsoever. However, I did expect Jokic to play the best he can, and he was going to have some good stat lines, but I expected his team to not do well. Now, did I expect a sweep? Not really. I thought it went to 5 or 6, but yeah, a sweep is crazy. I mean, it's kind of funny to think that this man Nick Wright said nothing about his boy LeBron James not making the playoffs, but when Nikola Jokic gets swept for the second time in a row, you are right there to talk about it. And I'm just going to be honest, I think we're setting the bar for Jokic so fucking high, it's insane. Like I mentioned, he has a G League roster right now without Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. And you expect him to beat a team that could have a legitimate chance at making the NBA Finals and maybe winning it. Jokic is doing everything he can and he's going down swinging. Also, I didn't even make a video when Nick Wright was going on about, oh, Nikola Jokic is only winning MVP because of advanced stats. Now, that's a whole separate video I wanted to make, but I scrapped it because it would just be me repeating everything I've already said. So let me just say this and I'm gonna get back onto the track where this video was originally supposed to be. Nikola Jokic did not win the the MVP because of his advanced stats. Sure, his advanced stats do look very nice and he is the leader and the face of them. However, his stats are considered better than Joel Embiid. They're very close. However, Jokic does have an edge on him, like in rebounding and assist numbers. Yeah, we like to bring up advanced stats because they're interesting to talk about and they give another perspective of the game that most casuals and even most NBA fans really won't get into. But I could look at Nikola Jokic's normal stat line like points, rebounds, assists, and I would still crown him the MVP. I didn't look at his true shooting percentage or his defensive field goal percentage or his box plus minus or his VORP. I didn't look at any of those things and say, he should be the MVP. I like to bring it up in videos to again give another perspective, but that's about it. I'm not going to base my MVP vote just because of that. I think within like 2 months of the season, JaVale McGee had a top 25 PER in the NBA. And as much as I love my boy JaVale McGee, he's not a top 25 player in the NBA. He's the best player. But seriously, all jokes aside, we need to stop with this advanced stat argument. It's fucking stupid and it's a complete lie. I will just say this again because I feel like a lot of people aren't talking about this, but the MVP has lost the meaning of winning. Now, Nick Wright did say in that intro clip I showed you a while back that history is going to judge Nikola Jokic fairly. And if we're going to negatively talk about Jokic's MVP seasons and look how he did in the playoffs, that is fine as long as the narrative changes about the MVP. If LeBron James was to average 30 and 10 next year, but he was an 8 seed versus, let's say, Devin Booker averaging 25, 6, and 7 while being on the #1 team in basketball, then you better give it to goddamn Devin Booker, not LeBron. And that's just an example. You can go with any players and try to switch it up, but at the end of the day, if it's not based on winning, then let's not even talk about that factor. People like Nick Wright are the reason that winning doesn't matter in the MVP case and then want to bitch about the fact that it doesn't matter. Can we make it make sense? I think us trying to discredit Nikola Jokic because of a narrative that the NBA media star and people like Nick Wright have continued to use is ridiculous. Also, I knew I was gonna eventually forget to talk about this, but I need to before I do. But god damn it, the Nikola Jokic defensive slander is also ridiculous. I'm not saying he's this amazing offensive player while also being one of the best interior defenders in the league. He's not the best defender, however, he is someone that can do his job. Jokic did average a little over 2 steals per game and about 1.5 blocks, so statistically he's right there. And then again, when it comes to the eye test, he's not the greatest thing, however, he does his job. I'm sick of people slandering Jokic because of something that he can't control. His team is terrible and he cannot carry them versus the Warriors. So I would ask the question, if the Lakers were in this same situation, you literally just flipped the Denver Nuggets and the Lakers, would Nick Wright say anything? No, because he rides LeBron James like Lana Rhodes. However, you mean to tell me that Nikola Jokic, someone with no problems, is trying to take over the league and be one of the best players? No, let me try to defame his career. You are literally the leader of a narrative that is trying to push Nikola Jokic as being one of the best players in the NBA completely agone, and we're not going to let that happen. I'm not saying Nikola Jokic is the greatest basketball player of all time. I'm not saying he doesn't have flaws. Every player in the league has flaws. I feel like we're holding Nikola Jokic to this crazy ass standard that he's not going to meet, that literally no other player in the NBA could meet. There's probably a 95% chance the Nuggets are going to get swept by the Warriors. They have one more game and it's very likely it's going to happen. However, do not let that and Nick Wright try to convince you that Nikola Jokic did not deserve to win the MVP. It's a regular season award and his regular season was very good. So unless the MVP award has something to do with winning, then I don't want to hear shit.